Aloha, my name is Christina and welcome to my Wana Rehab Series. Today we're going to be talking about toe and foot movement. 2 weeks after my surgery, which was at the bottom of my foot, close to my big toe ball joint, the post-op shoe came off and the stitches came out. The podiatrist recommended I start moving the big toe around to create sort of flexibility and mobility in the joint. And I felt because my foot was so stiff from being in that shoe for so long, I wanted to create a little bit more mobility and flexibility in the rest of my foot. So depending on what surgery you had and where you are in your recovery process, some of these exercises may or may not feel great for you. Just take any precautions that you need. So come on down and let's get started. Let's start with just toe mobility. So I'm going to try to sit in a position where you can see my big toe. Maybe I'll sit straight on. So when we think about joint movement, we think about there's what's called flexion, that's what's called extension. We've got abduction and adduction. So your toe can move in all these different ways. Kind of same thing with your thumb. So we can kind of close a thumb in, we can pull it back, we can open it out, and we can close it in. So we're going to start to do that with the big toe. So from here, I'm thinking of, this is called flexion. I'm going to pull the big toe down, kind of stretching the top of the foot. And then I'm going to pull the big toe back, being mindful of the incision because it's at the bottom of my foot. And I'm sort of stretching that area. I'm going to pull the big toe back. Let's do 10. You're just going to pull down 2 and stretch it back. 3. So it really just depends on how your toe feels. 4. And where your incision is. 5. And also like what you got done. 6. I had a client that had like bone shaved off of that joint because there was a bone spur, and that's a much more intense surgery. So her rehab was a lot different than mine. Good. Let's do one more. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna face this way. Prop my foot up. So now we're gonna do abduction. So it's kind of like how you would open your thumb out. I'm gonna open gently, open the big toe in. Close. 2, 3. So the muscle that's on like the inside of the foot. 4. That helps to kind of mobilize and work your big toe. 5. 6 is very weak because it hasn't worked at all. 7. So these are all just assisted movements. 8. 9. 10. Okay. So from here, I'm going to face this way. I think this makes sense. Okay, got it. So I'm going to actually cross the big toe over. So it's called adduction. I'm going to kind of cross it over. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just creating movement in the joint. 7, just because it's been so stiff. 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then what I like to do is massage the entire foot. So with 2 thumbs, I'm going to hold my foot and I'm just going to push in. Just kind of work around. This was so stiff a couple weeks ago. Just being mindful of your incision. And what we're trying to do is just release any tight muscles that just haven't been working for however long you've been in your boots. Some people have been in it for like 2 weeks, maybe some for like 6 if you broke your foot, maybe you're in a cast. So wherever you can, we're just mobilizing the area. So the day I got my stitches out, I started to do this because my foot was immobile for so long. So I'm just kind of working through the bottom of the foot. I wouldn't recommend using maybe a ball because it can slip. It just does not feel so good. So using your thumbs is just kind of nice. And then the same thing with the toes. For me, it's actually interesting because the big toe can get a little numb. Yeah, there it is. But I'm just trying to bring some blood flow. And then what I like to do is I'm kind of like mobilizing, like how you would sort of your knuckles. I'm going to mobilize the joint. So I'm going to grab the ball joint of the 5th toe and the 4th toe. And then I'm just going to kind of shift it around each other. Shift it around, moving to the fourth and the third. Same thing with the third and the second. And then gently the second and the first. So I'm just trying to mobilize this area. Sometimes I found that the calf gets really tight, or the side of the calf gets really tight. So I just sort of like with my hands, just sort of massage. So what we're just trying to do is loosen up this whole area, depending on your surgery, your injury. This is also great for people who have had ankle surgeries or injuries, because all of these muscles get very, very tight. All right, stay tuned for more videos. We're going to be talking a lot about toe and foot and ankle health as I recover from getting Barbara the Vana spine taken out of my foot. Thanks for joining. My name is Christina, and I'll see you next time. Aloha.